If it's happening in Burbank, you want to know, so tune in to the Mike and Roy Show.
And now,
Mike and Roy.
Hello, Burbankers.
And welcome back to another special episode of the Mike and Roy Show. We have a really great guest tonight to talk all about Measure QS. There's a lot of talk around town going on about this. Eric Michael Kapp is here to shed some light, to clear up the whole mess. And I know a lot of people, before we launch into let Eric do his thing, there's a lot of people, like, even if you say you have second thoughts about this, people are getting very emotional. It's for the kids, it's for the teachers. And we all, Mike and I agree, you know how we feel about both measures, but we want the best for our kids. And if that means more funding, of course, and the same with our teachers. But there's some concerns about it. So let's try to get to that part of it and get past the emotion. What's the facts for this?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. And thanks for all you do with the Mike and Roy Show, just presenting the other side of every issue. I really appreciate this. And this is one of those issues that, it kind of feels good to support on paper, but once you kind of get into the facts, you find that it's not really the right solution at this time, and that's what I'm going to go into. So
And we've all had kids going through the Burbank school system,
exactly.
and we support our schools,
Exactly.
and especially our teachers.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So, I'm a parent of a junior high student at Burbank High. So she's gone through the system, Thomas Jefferson to Muir, and now to Burbank High. So I've been pretty involved in our school district, and I also was very involved in the campaign for Measure S, Yes on S. So it may surprise you that I, as a parent and a supporter of Measure S, is not supporting this, as are many other people.
And I was going to say, you have some very big names also
we
with
have
you on
a
this.
few, Larry Applebaum, who led that campaign. So what I'd like to do is just kind of go through some of the reasons why I'm not supporting it, and I'm just going to go through bullet points. And you can find this on our website. It's burbankmeasureqs.com. We also have another site, which is noonmeasureqs.com. It's the same site. So go there, get the facts. There's a lot more information, including support links, videos. There's a commentary by Larry Applebaum, where he really gets into the nitty-gritty, including some ideas that he has as far as alternate solutions that would be sustainable long-term versus what's essentially a Band-Aid approach right now.
The website is great, what you did with that. I looked at it. It's very informative.
So thanks. So let me just go through this. So point number one, the tax is not needed at this time. The BUSD budget is balanced for the next 3 years. And those aren't just my words, those are the words of our superintendent. Let me just read the exact quote. The school district currently has a balanced 3-year budget that provides 4 increases in pension obligations. So that was in a Burbank Leader article. He does go on to say, but we don't have money for the cost of living adjustments, and we'll address that in a moment. But the budget is balanced for 3 years as it's required by state law, and including the money set aside for pensions. So it's not needed right now. The budget is balanced. Now it may be balanced with savings, or what they refer to as deficit spending, but that's kind of how you and I probably balance our budget. So if you run a business, we don't have enough money, we dip into savings. That's what it's kind of for. It's not ideal, but that's just the reality. So it's budgeted, it's balanced for the next 3 years. Next point, the tax places an unfair burden on property owners and renters, by the way, who are still paying for the previous school bonds, the two of them, the original bond from 1997 for the high schools, and Measure S, which was just 5 years ago, and we're going to be paying for that till 2032.
A lot of people have forgotten about the one from 97, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. So, we're still paying for that, while 1,300 students who don't live in the district aren't paying those taxes. And if this is approved, they won't be paying those taxes either. So it gets down to a question of fairness there. For us, we're looking at about, I think it's $174 extra on top of the other $170 roughly we're paying for Measure S in the previous bond. And again, that's going to be there till 2032. So putting another measure on the ballot just 5 years after Measure S, when you consider that there was 16 years between the 1997 bond and the 2013 bond, is a little bit much. And businesses also are being taxed by the square footage. So if you've got a business where you've got a larger,
A big box
space,
store, maybe?
well, a place like IKEA or something like that, I mean, I can't even imagine what their tax bill is going to be. It's going to be astronomical.
And who's going to pay up that in the end? Right?
Well, you and I are
there we
not
go.
paying for that. And not only that, but let's say somebody like the Kusamanos, who own a lot of property in town, he's probably going to end up paying something like $50,000. And what's going to happen there is that means there's less money for them to give to Burbank Arts for All and the non-profits that they support, because it's got to come from somewhere.
Of course.
Or to keep some of their affordable housing, because I was talking to some
exactly,
people. The
the senior
Kusamanos
housing.
do have some buildings designated as affordable
Exactly.
for elderly and seniors.
Yeah, exactly. Point number 3, and this is a big one, it's a real deal breaker for a lot of people in this community, and that is that this tax will exist in perpetuity.
Yeah.
In other words, forever, always and forever.
No sunset clause.
It has no sunset clause, no ending, which is very unusual, highly unusual for parcel taxes or temporary taxes. If you think back to Prop 30, Prop 30 was, I believe, 3 years. The sales tax, $0.25 state measure for our schools, temporary funding. I did a little bit of research. I think La Cañada was the last one in our immediate area. That was for 7 years. This is forever.
Ever.
That's very suspicious to
Forever.
me.
So that's $9 million into the district forever. That property tax amount is never going to end, and it won't be the last parcel tax or bond that you see on your property tax. So I honestly, I don't understand why the district went that way. I think that is probably going to end up being a fatal mistake.
And they must not have thought about the Mike and Roy show when they wrote that.
Well,
It would come out here.
Exactly. The tax does not address future maintenance needs or extra classrooms that are going to be needed to accommodate anticipated future demand from planned development. So you've got stuff like the old IKEA site where we're talking about 1,200 new units right next to Burbank High.
We've talked about it here. It's a big project.
There are going to be some families living there. There are going to be some kids. Where are they going to go? You've got other projects, Tuleria, First Front Street, all those projects. So this doesn't address those needs. We're going to have to look at probably another bond, maybe around 2024, to deal with future maintenance. And again, you're on the Measure S committee. We still haven't even finished, by the way, the work that we said we were going to do.
That's right.
On Measure S. I think there were at least 4 school sites.
I'm not blaming you for that, though.
No.
But I blame Mike.
Exactly. It's your fault. You're supposed to be on top of that.
Yeah.
So we've got that. So that's another issue. Significant funds will be used to augment salaries and benefits. Having $9 million a year that can be reassigned to any goal pot will lead to more demands for salary and benefits, resulting in less money available for the classroom. So
It's a slippery slope.
So just consider this. And Larry did a really good video. You can watch it on our website at burbankmeasureqs.com that really speaks to this. But essentially, the school district, they teachers union, they wanted 8% this last negotiation. They got 3. It's about $1.1 million per percent. That's what it costs us. So that first $3.3 million out of that 9 is already spoken for, okay, for those pay rises.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next year? Okay, they know that they've got $5.7 million left. They're going to come back. They're going to want another cost of living increase.
Of course.
So you're going to have a situation where literally in 3 years, all of that $9 million is spoken for.
Yep.
Leaving no money for any of the other things that they want to do. So,
but there is a long-term solution that we've talked about, that we know about, and that's a whole other show.
Exactly.
But I think we find that information on your website here, and
exactly.
And the numbers that you brought to us are so important. And really, thank you for putting the time in to do all that, do the math, and it makes it all very clear that now isn't the time, that this Measure QS, is not right for our schools. We want what's right for our schools.
Right, and again, this is all about, the real problem is it's pensions, and it's a state issue. And what's really happened here is that the state, first of all, the districts always pay their pensions, unlike the city of Burbank who took a 6-year pension holiday. They always paid what they were told, but it wasn't enough.
Where did they go on their holiday? I'm just
Well, I
curious.
don't know,
South of
but
France.
they spent the money.
Yeah.
So what's happened is now the state has mandated that they give a certain amount of money
Yes.
towards pensions. So basically, 20 cents in every dollar of payroll is going towards pensions for our teachers, and 25 cents for classified employees. So what's happening is the cost of living money that they are getting from the state is supposed to pay for those teacher cost of living adjustments is being spent. It's going towards those pensions.
Right.
So this can be resolved by a couple of things at the state level. Number one, properly funding our schools. We have seen an increase in funding, but we're only back to the 2008 levels. So we need to get to 2008 plus the cost of living for the last 10 years, and that's the level they should be funding us at. If they funded us at that level, problem solved. Okay, they're sitting on $16 billion surplus right now, according to the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association. That's anticipated to increase to $19 billion. Okay, they've got money there that they should be diverting to our schools, and they're wasting money on things like, the bullet train nowhere. Again, that money could be going to our classrooms. So they could do that. They could also ease up on that 20 cent and 25 cent, maybe reduce that to 15 and 20. That would give us some breathing space and some margin. So any one of those things. And then if that doesn't happen, there are options that Larry's discussed as far as a more narrow parcel tax that has a sunset clause, because we don't need to do that forever. Depending what happens even with Measure P. If Measure P was to fail, there could be a sales tax measure where we split the revenue, which is what Pasadena has on the ballot. Pasadena has a sales tax increase where they're going to split the revenue with their school district. Our school district went to our city when they heard they were going to put that Measure P on the ballot and asked, would you be willing to share that revenue, a quarter cent?
All in one measure.
And they said, no. So if you need another reason not to vote for Measure P, I just gave you one. So, but if it fails, it gives us another option to maybe retry something and split that revenue as well. So there are lots of options. This isn't the answer. It's not sustainable in the long term, and we need to have a solution that is going to address the real problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it. So I'm urging everybody I know in the community to vote no on Measure QS. The website again where you can get more information is burbankmeasureqs.com. And I would just encourage you, before you vote on this, just take a few minutes, turn off CNN for a little while, and go and just read up on and hear the other side of the story. And we even have a link to the Burbank Unified School District page where you can get their side of the story, and then make an informed decision that isn't based on feelings or fear, by the way. Because there's a bit of fear-mongering going on now. And I don't make decisions based on fear, and neither should you. Make a decision based on facts. Take a few minutes to get the facts, and then make an informed vote on November 6th.
And you are a living example of how important our schools are, because when somebody isn't taught to speak proper English, you end up with this kind of...
That's right. That's right.
Make sure we've got to take care of our schools.
Thank you to Eric for sharing that information. It's also important that we inform ourselves before we go out and vote no on Measure QS, right?
That's right.
We'll see you next time
on the Mike and Roy Show.
Mike and Roy.